What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 8, episodes 14 and 15. Now, I'm still under the weather, but I am pushing through. So let's talk and let's get into it. So before we get into it, let's get a little spicy because there's a lot that has been going on that I would like to talk about as it pertains to Real Housewives of Potomac. So first, it looks like we got an update as it pertains to the whole situation between Giselle and Robin and Eminem. So this is coming from TV Deets. And they're saying this, they're saying Eminem will have to sit for a deposition after the United States Patent and Trademark Office Board denied his motion for a protective order in his ongoing case against Robin Dixon and Giselle Bryant over their Reasonably Shady podcast. And it goes on to say, as assertion of Mr. Matters being too busy will not be enough to avoid having to sit for a deposition. Robin and Giselle's lawyers wrote in court documents according to Radar Online, as Robin and Giselle, both celebrities in their own right, have provided the courtesy of sitting for the deposition for Eminem. It is not overly burdensome from Eminem to extend the same courtesy for his obligation. Hashtag RHOP. So I just wanted to bring this to you guys because we talked about it before in the Spicy Corner. So just a little update. I still think they should change the name, not even because of um, Eminem, but more so I feel like they had so many other options. Like Green Eye Bandits could have been a name. Y'all, the way Karen monetized off of being called the Grand Dame because Giselle and the ladies were using it as a dig against her, to now that people refer to her as that, and then she has her perfume. I don't understand why Giselle or Robin didn't capitalize being called the Green Eye Bandits or the GEBs. Like, it was right there. I feel like that could have been a way better marketing tool, or they could have just been called the Bandits, or the Bandit Podcast. I don't know. I just feel like there were so many other opportunities. That's just my thing, and I feel like they could have just went a different way. So the next thing I want to talk about is, did anybody see Candace and Wendy on Kelly Clarkson? So they were at the Kelly Clarkson show on February the 29th and with Andy, and they look great. The little reel that they did online, I'm gonna play it for you guys, was actually totally cute.
Ladies, it's showtime.
I thought they looked great. Um, I saw maybe a clip of the segment with them, and Andy seemed pretty cool with the ladies being there, as well as the interaction between Kelly Clarkson and Candace was really cute. Out of both ladies' outfits, I thought they both looked great, but I like Candace's outfit more. And I do like her hair this color, but I wish she would go back to the auburn, like the burgundy. I don't know. That just looks so much better on her to me. But it was nice to see them out doing press with Andy. It's interesting because normally Andy seems to be doing press with like Giselle and Robin, or if it's not him with Giselle and Robin, we normally see Giselle and Robin at the forefront of the press runs for Potomac. But for me, Candace has really been making her strides. Like, I saw recently that she posted on Twitter that she was at the White House for the HBCU influencer panel. She looked great. I saw my alma mater in there. Okay, I said, come on, y'all, come on, Aggie Pride. All right. So I saw a couple of people had on their paraphernalia and stuff, so it was cute. Um, yeah, I don't. It's just it seems like things are shifting with Potomac. It seems, especially when they released the lineup for the reunion. So let's get into that. So on February the 28th, the page called The Lean Official, and we've talked about their YouTube channel they have on here, but they also have a Twitter page. They posted on the 28th that and I'm just going to read what they posted, but they said, our sources are telling us this is the official hashtag RHOP reunion seating chart. The ladies are currently filming in New York. Friend of Kiarna was said to be invited, but no word on whether or not she is present. Thoughts? And they had the seating chart. It was supposed to be Andy in the middle, like it always is. On the right hand side, you had Karen, Giselle, Robin, and NECA. On the left hand side, it was Mia, Candace, Wendy, and Ashley. And I was like, I even said this. I was like, or retweeted it. I was like, if this is true, if this is completely true, then what's the point of, we don't need to have a reunion, because why is Mia first chair? Like, what has Mia done all season to garner first chair? Unless they want to ask her about the demise or I don't know, her whole entire situation or her arrangement with Gordon and this new dude that she been on the gram with. But other than that, I don't know why she be first chair. So I kind of took what they said with a grain of salt, but whoever their sources are, keep them, because they gave them factual information. Because a few hours after they made their post, Bravo made their official post, and the lineup was exactly how they presented it, with Mia being first chair on the left hand side, and then you had Candace, Wendy, then Ashley, and then on the right hand side you had again Karen, Giselle, Robin, and NECA. And everybody was perplexed, mainly about Mia, but more perplexed about Giselle. And even I was, mainly because it's been 7 seasons and Giselle has always sat on the right side of Andy. Always. And and some people are like, well, so has Karen. That's not true. Season 4, was that season 4 or 3? No, that was season 4, when they were wearing all white. Ashley was first chair that season, and Karen sat next to her. Karen was second chair, and I think that's when Ashley was like pregnant with, I think, her second child. No, it was her first child. Her first child, because when they were in yellow for season 5, she was pregnant with her second child. So yeah, so season 4, she was pregnant with her first child, and that's when all that stuff came out about Michael, and him being who he is and all of that stuff. And then season 6, the season with Nicki Minaj, where they were wearing all like hot pink and stuff. Wendy was first chair, and Karen was second chair that season as well. So Karen hasn't always been first chair, but Giselle has always been first chair since season 1. Since season 1. So to me, that just tells me that it seems like there's a shift at the network. Do I think it's going to be some like great shift? No, but I do definitely think that there is a shift at the network, because we've never seen them bump Giselle down, as well as I've seen several Watch What Happens Live, and normally Andy is like on Giselle's side, or he kind of rides for her. He was annoyed with her when she did Watch What Happens Live. Like it was irritating. Like he was irritated with her, in the sense of like they were talking about the group and how they can't move forward. And she was like, I've been fun. I've been a lot of fun. And he was looking at her like, girl, what are you talking about? What fun have you been? And I was just like, yeah. I was like, Giselle, I think you kind of backed yourself in the corner, sis. like with not speaking or talking to anyone. And I think that's the main reason why Karen got first chair, is because at least, and even through these past two episodes that I watched today, it seems like Karen is trying, like she's been trying to get the group to interact, to communicate, because she knows at the end of the day, in order to have a show, there has to be interaction, whereas Giselle has just been on mute. But what I do find interesting is that she was the first one to get up on stage. And I'm wondering, did they tell her that she was second chair? And if they did tell her, I wonder how she reacted. But let's play this video of her interacting with Andy.
Not for nothing, but I'm just sitting here and Giselle Bryant is doing a full photo shoot behind me. I mean, this is the day. Giselle.
I have the whole place to myself.
I know you do. It's just me and Giselle waiting for everybody. I mean, that's what's happening.
But that's every year.
Every year it actually is. I mean, not for nothing, but
Yeah, I just wonder what her energy was like. But I'm just wondering what the background for like the set stage is supposed to be, because I see a mannequin that low key I think is dressed like Tina Turner. It has like like a gold embellishment dress on, and then the wig looks like a Tina Turner wig. I don't know. This it's just I don't know. This whole entire season is a I don't know. Really. Um but it looks like the energy at the reunion was different. You know, the main issue that a lot of people have with Potomac is that the ladies don't seem to know how to move forward. And it's looking like maybe people knocked on their doors while they were at the reunion, or maybe their producers called them up and told them, you need to get you gonna have to start bending or start making compromises so we can shift this group into another direction, because the energy is very stale and stagnant. Because I saw a clip of NECA. She was actually it looked like she was at down at the local news in Potomac. I'm not gonna play the audio because I got in trouble last time for that. But it seems like she was doing a one-on-one with a news reporter, and she asked her about the reunion. And NECA says, I think a lot of us moved forward. So it's seeming like a lot of them got that knock on the door that if they didn't start changing their attitudes, pink slips might start being handed out. Because I'm so surprised that she was like, it seemed like a lot of people wanted to move forward. It also seems like Wendy, Karen, Candace, and Kiarna had a successful night because they all clanked their glasses and said cheers. And this was posted by Wendy, and it said success. So maybe I don't know, maybe the girls move forward. Who knows? But what's very interesting is this video that Ashley posted. So let's talk about that.
This season was very challenging for me. I appreciate your support. There were things going on in my personal life that I wasn't able to share, unfortunately. And then even some of the dynamics in the group were a little challenging for me. More on that a little later, but I just wanted to check in. Thank you all for your positivity. This has been a great journey. Who knows what's to come on it, but I love y'all and I appreciate you so much. This season was very challenging.
So what I'll say is, when I first saw this, I just rolled my eyes at it. I'm not even gonna lie, because I was like, Ashley, you just said a bunch of nothing. Like, you didn't say anything of substance in the sense of like adding to like what's going on, or give us any tea about the reunion. So I was like, what's the point of this? But then after watching today's episode 15, or this week's episode, I don't, my brain, y'all. Whatever. Watching the latest episode, it kind of made me feel like maybe this was her way of just being like apologizing. Cause I don't know if they're getting rid of Ashley. It, the way the way they did her birthday thing gave very much a farewell, but I don't know. I feel like maybe she's apologizing in the sense of like, because she hasn't given a lot, and she feels as though like she's letting people down, but it also feels like she can't give a lot because of Michael. You know, I don't know. But and I also thought like when this first came out, I thought maybe her performance at the reunion was bad, and that's why she came out. Like maybe the girls got at her for the whole Osu situation, or maybe they told her she was boring, or production was like, "Yeah, girl, this wasn't a good year for you." I don't know, but mm, we'll see what happens next. And the last thing is this revelation that Carlos King revealed that he was trying to do a first generation African show in LA, and NECA was supposed to be on the cast, but I guess she like turned it down or it didn't go the way he wanted it to. Mm, I mean, I could see NECA more in LA. I feel like her energy is more, she gives Valley Girl to me. So I feel like I would maybe enjoy her personality a lot more in that type of setup versus being in Potomac. But I do think the concept is a cool idea because I don't think we have a first gen African reality TV show here. And I think that's cool. I would love to see Bravo pick that up. Kind of like on along the lines of like Family Karma, like, you know, just a group of friends and their family and seeing them navigate through life. I think that'd have been cool. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting that he revealed that, you know, the whole, is it 36 degrees of separation or 9 degrees of separation? Like, you never know how people are connected type stuff. But let's get into the reviews. All right, y'all. So please bear with me. I watched both episodes back to back. So if things start to merge together, it is what it is. But episode 14 pretty much goes the way they normally go. It opens up where it left off. They just crown NECA the new Grand Dame. Candace is walking away because she thinks it's stupid and it's petty and it's malicious. And then Karen is just looking irritated but also amused by this whole display. I mean, it was a nice sash and the crown was cute, but I still think it was corny to do. So we actually see the girls go play golf. Really, it wasn't even golf. It was just them hitting like glow in the dark golf balls into the greens, which I would have had fun doing, but that's all they were doing. So they were doing that, and we see Karen take Candace to the side and she's like, "Are you okay? I saw you walking away. I'm just letting you know I'm good. Like, nothing that they did really affected me. Giselle ain't got nothing better to do, so that's why she did what she did." And to be all the way honest, none of them really have anything to do or anything better to do. Like, none of them really have storylines this season, if we being real. Like, let's start off with Karen. All we got from Karen this season was she turning 60 and we went down to Surrey County for like an episode or two. That's it. Then Candace, we saw her, you know, practicing her lines for her TV show, and, you know, she was trying to gear up for the tour. But other than that, I mean, the only thing Candace gave us was the best party that they've had because it was beautiful with I think it's Day Proof Room DeMarley or something like that. Um who else? Wendy whole thing was to do that TV show, but we have yet to hear her speak about that. And then her whole thing has been the thing between her and NECA. NECA, similar to Wendy, we know she want to get pregnant, but her whole thing has merely been surrounded by her beef with Wendy. Mia kind of has a solid storyline, you know, her going through the changes in her marriage. You know, G doesn't have money anymore, so that's a new thing for her, as well as her contemplating whether or not she's going to stay in the marriage. All Giselle has is that her oldest child, is going to college. That's a Grace thing, not a Giselle thing. So, in this lack thereof, um clothing line, Ashley ain't gave us anything, like nothing, other than this clothing line, and that's it. And it's not non-existent. And then who else? Then Robin could have had a storyline where it would just be us actually watching her go through the challenges of dealing with what they dealt with when the whole infidelity was exposed. But they wrapped that up into 2 episodes. So it's like nobody really has anything going on this season if we gonna keep it a buck. But Candace said yeah, and then they got over it. So we then see them actually go and get dinner. Giselle brings up about how Karen's advice about how not making the graduation about herself or about her, Giselle helped her with the whole Grace thing. And Karen was saying basically that, and this all happened at NECA's box housewarming party, but Karen basically told Giselle, like, don't do all that crying and all that carrying on while your child is graduating. Like, it is their moment. Let them have their moment. And she said, you know, her mom did that to her when she was crying up a storm about her oldest, her son, going off to college. So while Giselle is talking, you can kind of see Wendy and Candace looking at each other, but they were just having a conversation through looks. Well, Robin is in her confessional talking about what she say. Oh, I know you guys don't like Giselle, but come on, guys. Like, she's talking about her daughter and you're making faces. That's not cool. Okay, girl. And Giselle said something to the same effect as Robin. And then Candace said congratulations, but it fell on deaf ears because nobody acknowledged it. And so then Mia asked Giselle, like, how does she feel about Grace going to school in Florida? And everyone talks about how crazy Florida is. Then Wendy starts to bring up like the political climate in Florida and how she wouldn't be feel comfortable about her kids going and stuff like that. And I wish Wendy would have not said anything, because the same way I felt like Candace will never see anything that Giselle does as like light and whimsical and just like, you know, fun shade because she thinks Giselle is a calculated, malicious person. I think Giselle sees Wendy and Candace the same way. Like, she does not like them. We saw her last season point to Wendy and say, I do not like her. And then the whole situation between Giselle and Candace and Chris, all of that happened. And it's like clear as day, she don't like neither one of y'all. So I think Wendy speaking up was never going to be taken in a positive light. Like, everyone thought Wendy was trying to rain on Giselle's parade. And I don't even think that. I think she was just posing like I think they were just having a discussion at the table, and it was just like she wanted to add her 2 cents. And if I was her, I wouldn't have said anything. I wouldn't even congratulated Grace like Candace did. I don't like your mama, so by proxy, I don't really care about what happens to you, in a sense of like, you know, great you got into school, but you don't get that from me. If I was Candace or Wendy, I would not have wasted my breath, because nothing, and because in my mind I'd have been like, nothing I do is going to be taken in a nice way because they don't like me and they don't want to see anything else from me other than maliciousness. And the same way goes for Candace in the way she views Giselle. So the conversation switches, and then Giselle brings up about the issues between Karen and Mia. And honestly, what it boils down to is Karen feels like Mia owes her a certain amount of loyalty, and Mia hasn't shown it. She feels as though that Mia kind of went out her way last season to co-sign rumors about Karen, you know, possibly getting bust down in a bathroom at some nice restaurant. And you know that hurt her relationship. Yeah, that could have hurt Ray. That did hurt Ray. Like, pretty basically saying, girl, I brought you into this group and how dare you disrespect me that way. Where Mia feels like Karen has been coming at her, and it, you know, just stupid, very stupid. But Karen pretty much says, like, y'all been coming at my marriage since forever. I brought all the rumors that I heard about you saying that you slept with a rapper. I brought that to your face. I wasn't talking about you behind your back, and I didn't do it in a way that was flippant the way you did me. But they ended the conversation there because Mia said something to the effect that like she hasn't even told everything that she knows about Karen. And Karen pretty much told Mia, girl, don't threaten me. Like, say what you got to say. And Mia didn't say anything. And I don't know if that's because Mia be lying, because Mia is infected with the disease called diabetes because it runs through her veins, or if she really has something to say, like has tea, but she really doesn't want to say it because she doesn't want to totally like sever that bridge with Karen. So it's the next day, and we see this scene of Mia, NECA, and Giselle talking about what happened the night before. I will say Kiana's assessment of the group was pretty much spot on, where she says it's a lot of y'all just talking at each other and not to one another. And I say, yeah, girl, they don't they speak to respond, not speaking to listen. Or that or they just don't want to listen. So it is what it is. And so, like I said, it's the next day. Mia feels like Karen wants her to be a slave. Giselle is like, yeah, that's not a friendship. But I don't want to hear nothing about friendship coming from Giselle. Like I just don't. Again, I just feel like Karen thinks Mia owes her a certain type of loyalty. And to a certain extent, I kind of agree with Karen where it's like, I brought you into this group. How dare you? But also, Karen, it's Mia. You already know you started off the season giving a lady a handshake. You should have just kept it there and kept it pushing because you knew she was gonna mess up eventually. Um, so then Mia got on her hands and knees talking about she was gonna serve Karen because it was stupid. It was stupid. I got a cute little chuckle out of it, but after a while, I was like, it's whatever. So then we see them actually go and I guess they were at like a beach cafe or something like that. But they're all sitting at the table. Mia lies about being some type of stripper heiress, saying that she had more money than Gordon when they got together, as in like cash versus assets. But I was like, how does that work when it's like you might have that readily available, but weren't you saying that man was dropping like $100, like not $100, but like 10 stacks on you? Like Mia be lying, and I don't understand if she realizes that it's like, and you can tell when Mia is legit lying. Like sometimes Mia is telling the truth, but you can tell when she's telling the truth because there's more bass in her voice. Like she speaks in her normal like voice. Whereas when she's lying, there's an inflection in her voice and she's a lot more fidgety. And it's like, oh, okay, girl. Like, so, I mean, that's what I picked up when Mia be lying. So, like, in this one, it definitely felt like she was lying. And I was like, Mia, go on somewhere, girl. But we have the scene where it's Robin, Mia, Giselle, and Ashley, and they're sitting down on the beach. The other groups of ladies are on the other side of the area that they were at. And Robin is asking Mia, oh, did you see the faces that not Karen, but Candace and Wendy were making? And Mia was like, mm-hmm. And then Giselle is on her high horse talking about they were making faces while I was talking about my daughter. I'm done. I'm done. And I'm like, Giselle, you say it every episode that you don't engage with Wendy, you don't engage with Candace, you don't want them in your vicinity. I'm like, do you need to keep telling yourself or keep saying it out loud so you'll commit to it or you'll be steadfast to it? Because constantly saying that you're not you're done with them. It's stupid. It's so stupid. One thing I will say, y'all, don't watch shows when you're sick because everything irritates you. Because this whole situation was stupid. It was so stupid because next thing you know, Wendy walks up and then all of a sudden you see Kiana, Karen, and Candace walk up, and then NECA comes and Wendy's like, what we talking about? And everybody is on mute. Like Giselle is turning her face, not saying nothing. And I'm like, okay, girl, if this is about your daughter, say something. Why aren't you saying anything? So Robin is the one to bring up the conversation. And Robin's like, y'all were making funny looks while Giselle was talking about her kid, and then Giselle tries to chime in, and then Wendy and Candace are like, "What?" And then even Karen is like, they always be making faces at each other. What are you talking about? Like, y'all haven't noticed that? And then Kiana was like, I don't even think it was shade if they did make a face. And Wendy basically tells Giselle, like, you weaponized your child against me 2 seasons ago when we were in New York. And they showed it where when Grace walked past Wendy and I think Karen, they said that Wendy made a face. And I was like, I didn't think Wendy made a face, but okay. But everyone was just like, okay. And so ever since then, Wendy was like, when it comes to your child, I didn't say anything. I didn't make a face. I don't play that. You tried me, so I let it go. And then Candace was like, what do you mean? And then I don't understand why Ashley and these bad clip-ins decided to stand herself up. And she was like, well, why did you chuckle, babes? Why, I'd have told Ashley, you don't sit down before I throat punch you. Talking about, why don't you chuckle, babes? And and Candace was like, what do you mean? And so Candace basically said, I don't like Giselle and she makes me uncomfortable. So like if I did make a sound, if I made a face, it was because I was uncomfortable. But when it comes to her kids, I wish them the best. I wish them well. I don't have any ill will towards her kids. And then the conversation was over. And Giselle and everybody sitting there looked stupid as hell. Because here's my thing. So let's say they did make a face. What y'all doing about it? Are we rearranging? Are we shifting tables? Are we shifting wigs? Are we putting hands on each other? Because if not, what are you talking about? Like, this is my thing. Giselle's a dumbass to me because why are you talking about your child, somebody that you love, that's so beloved to you, in front of people that you have told and done things to that you don't like them? You pointed to Wendy last season at the reunion and said, I don't like her. So whatever happened to her, i.e., when what's her name? When Mia hit Wendy with the purse and threw the drink, you were like, whatever happens to her, I don't care because I don't like her. Why would you speak about your child in front of somebody you don't like that you said you don't care what happens to them? So why do you think they should care or give reverence or grace to your child? That doesn't make sense to me. On top of that, you don't like Candace. You keep saying you're not engaging in Candace. She said some hurtful things about you. Then why share personal information? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense. You can't have it both ways, Giselle. You can't be rude and nasty to people, make faces at their events, speak underneath your breath and scoff at them and laugh and make faces and smirk. But when they do it because it has something to do with your child, we're supposed to care. Girl, miss me with that. Miss me with that, bro. Like, on some real. And then my other thing is, I hate when y'all compare Giselle to Kenya. I do, because even when Kenya was having bad seasons, and she's had some bad seasons, she was still entertaining. She still gave us quips and moments. Giselle has given us nothing. And the Giselle stands swear on everything that the season is lackluster because Giselle's not engaged and she's not up to her usual tricks and antics. And I beg to differ. I think that even if Giselle was up to her usual tricks and shenanigans and games, the season still wouldn't be worth anything because nobody really has anything going on. And at this point, the game is stale and it's stagnant. Like, you have too many people. This cast is like it's 9 people. 9 people. And we can't get any resolutions, any type of resolve because nobody wants to move forward. Or the main person that we need in order to like shift the group's energy, it's digging her feet into the ground because she can't, like, it bothers her that she pressed 2 people that pressed her back. And even if you don't like, even if you, my thing is like, even if you think Giselle is the queen of the show, she still is going out in a way of, I don't like the fact that these 2 broads pressed me. And I'm not even the biggest fan of any of these people. There are certain people on this cast I'm like, okay, I like more than others, but nobody on this cast is my fave. So I feel like I can speak about this without any biases or anything like that. But it's just like, to me, it just seems like somebody that got angry that they did something and that the outcome wasn't what it normally was, and now they don't want to play ball anymore. So for Ashley's birthday, they're going to do Havana Nights, because I guess she was going to have a Havana Nights party for her birthday, but because of the fire, I think in Canada, the air quality, like all that smoke and soot and all of that stuff, um, is it soot or is it ash? Either way, we know all of that's bad. The air quality in the areas closest to like New York and Canada and all of that stuff, got it was horrible. I'm rambling, my bad, y'all. And so she had to cancel her party. So they decided to do that for her birthday night. And although I didn't like Ashley's outfit, I still thought she looked nice. I don't know where Giselle thought she was going, because she was dressed like she was going to a disco. Like, it said Havana Nights. Like, nobody was really like dressed that way. Like, Wendy gave me like, I mean, no, Wendy was dressed in Havana Nights, but I thought more of like Haitian Nights, and that could just be because she black. You know what I mean? Um, so they're at the table. They then get on the discussion about Robin and Candace, and honestly, I still think both Robin and Candace were wrong. But in this moment, Candace irritated me, because I'm like, girl, just say how you feel. But for Robin to say that she feels like Candace slandered her name, and I was like, it's not slandered, because she was basically voicing her opinions. That's not slander to me. That's not defamation to me. Defamation is if she was speaking about things that were totally untrue and not concrete. What she was saying was, this is how she personally feels about what happened. And I think what Candace was going through online was a myriad of emotions. I think one was she thought her relationship with Robin was a lot closer than it was, and she thought Robin was going to pick her over Giselle. I really think that Candace thought like, Robin, this is where you have to choose, in the sense of like, you see how messed up she is and what she's doing to me. Like why aren't you on my side? As well as maybe she thought like, how come you couldn't confide into me about what your husband did? Like, I'm telling you my business, how I'm feeling, and you can't tell me this. And I think it was also the fact that it's like, you tried to say Giselle, the whole Giselle Bryan of it all. Like, you tried to say my husband tried to do this to you, and it's not true. And it's messing with him. Now it's messing with our relationship. It's messing with me, because now I'm questioning all of this stuff. So I feel like she was just spiraling online with her thoughts. But she definitely, if she really wanted her friendship with Robin, she should have taken most of those thoughts and put it in a diary or spoke to a counselor. I think Robin is wrong for me in the sense of, I haven't gotten over the speaker situation. Like, that to me was foul, because you purposely tried to embarrass me and tried to get everybody at the table angry at me. And it's like, what did I do to you for you to do that to me? The other part is, yeah, in the beginning you were riding with me, but then you switched up. And Robin sitting at the table saying that if she knew that her support was going to end up like giving her support to Chris, and Candace was going to end up like this, she would have never gave it. If I was Candace, I would have told her, I wish you would have never gave it either, because I'd rather you ride with me wholeheartedly until the wheels fall off than to ride with me halfway and then jump ship because you're your bestie. And that's what it looks like. And that's just what it is. I think the part that is making people look at Candace crazy is like, you can't say you want a friendship with somebody and you want this, and this, but then also not take accountability in the sense of like what you did wrong. But I think Candace doesn't want to take accountability until Robin takes accountability. And Candace feels as though Robin hasn't taken accountability for anything that she has done. But you can tell that it seems like Robin and Candace really did have a strong friendship, because everybody at the table, except for Giselle, is pulling for them. Like, even NECA was like, isn't like, it seems like y'all are still open to reconcile. Kiana says it. Wendy says it. Even Mia kind of was like looking like, and then even Ashley seemed like she wanted them to somewhat work it out, but I guess we can tell that Candace and Robin's relationship will never be, and that they're okay with just coexisting and being cordial. So I'm gonna save my parts about Ashley for the end, but it's the next day and we see Karen and Giselle have a conversation. Giselle basically wants to reprimand Candace, wants to reprimand Karen for not having her back when they were having the whole conversation about the ladies making faces while she was talking about her kid. And Giselle basically tells Karen, I want you to stand up and tell these people that like kids are off limits, Karen. And Karen is looking at Giselle like, girl, what are you talking about? And here's my thing is it what it feels like is that Giselle is mad that Karen is still cool with Wendy and Candace. Like I feel like Giselle is mad that like her goal, which was to like have total control and basically put both of those ladies like on an island by herself, is not working the way she wants it to. Because the only person that I feel like is committed to doing that with Giselle is Robin, to be honest. Like everybody else somewhat talks to them. Like Mia is fine to go hang out with them. Ashley is fine with hanging out with Candace and Wendy. You know, even NECA is cool with Candace. She not cool with Wendy, but NECA is okay with trying to move forward. Like Giselle's plan to me didn't work because Giselle's whole thing was like telling Robin like stop engaging. You need to stop talking to Candace. And it's like, okay, you can stop talking to her, but if everybody else still is talking to her, then it's just not working the way you want it. And I think that's what it is for Giselle, because this conversation didn't make sense to me because one, it's not like Candace or Wendy said anything disparagingly about Grace, Giselle's daughter. It's not like they were taking digs at her or digs at Giselle's parenting. None of that happened. So you sound crazy because you're saying kids are off limits, but they haven't said anything about your kids or about you and your parenting style. So it's like and then it's like Giselle just wanted to argue with Karen because she was like, so we're not good. And Karen was like, no, we are good. And why are you trying to chastise me about speaking about your kid when that's your kid? Why didn't you say anything? You're her mother. And I'm like, yeah, like you was on mute when they walked over there. And then Karen basically said, like, girl, I'm Switzerland. I'm neutral. I'm not going nowhere. You're not gonna sway my opinion. And I think this is why Karen got first chair and Giselle didn't. Because Karen understands, like, I'm trying to progress the story forward. I'm trying to make sure we all keep a check and keep filming. You, on the other hand, is not trying to do that. And I think that is why they put Giselle in that second seat and gave Karen the first chair, because it's like you're not playing your part. If you're trying to be an anchor of this show, the anchor is always supposed to ground the group and keep them moving forward. Say what you want about Nene, how she, ego and all of that stuff, but all those women have said Nene did what she thought what was best for the show. She even told them that Claudia Jordan should have been a peach holder instead of Demetria. I think was it McKinley or McKinney? Like she was always doing what she thought was best for the show. Giselle don't do that. So they basically said that they was cool. Giselle threw a shot at Monica, and the Monica fans was upset. Because she said she was Brandy because she had and Karen was Monica. I said you two are neither, but okay. So then we see the group go to this cat cafe kind of thing where they just have like street cats or the restaurants cats just roaming around, and I think Mia is afraid of cats. But Karen brings up her conversation with Giselle because in that conversation, Giselle told Karen that Karen be acting different when she around Wendy and Candace, and that she don't like it. Like she's a lot more closed off. She's always taking their side. She's a lot meaner. Mia chimes in and says the same thing. And Wendy and Candace are like, no, she's not. Like, she holds all of us accountable. So what are you talking about? And they're like, yeah, like, what are you talking about, bro? And so um Robin chimes in and says, I really don't have expectations of Karen. And Karen said, and I don't have expectations of you. And I said, well, at least they know they on the same page. And then Kiarna says, she's new to the group, but she can tell that like there's issues with certain people. And, she can tell that there's issues between Wendy and Giselle. And Wendy's like, that's because we used to be friends. And they showed the flashback, but it really didn't seem like y'all were friends. It just seems like y'all were acquaintances. And Kiana's like, so does that mean y'all aren't friends now? And Wendy looking at Giselle, I'm like, see, that's why people can't rock with you, Wendy, because it still seems like you're vying for Giselle's approval. And it's like, girl, I'd have been like, no, we not cool. Like we just coexist. Cause Giselle said no. And I feel like if Giselle would have been like, oh, we're working on it, Wendy would have been like, yeah, we're working on it. Girl, no. You should have just left it at that. They then bring up how Karen has a trainer. It's some ex NFL player named Vernon. The story didn't go anywhere, if we're gonna be all the way honest. Ashley was acting like she smashed the man, but then when we got more information about it, all they did was text each other and flirted on Instagram. Like, it was stupid. I was like, I hope that man ain't got like a girlfriend or a wife somewhere or a fiance, because you was acting like you and him been talking and it wasn't even giving that. Wasn't giving none of that. So we see that some of the ladies go skeet shooting, which I would have did because I've always wanted to do that. And that was Ashley, Giselle, Nneka, Robin, and Kiarna. And while they're there, they asking Kiarna, well, has Wendy ever said anything negative about us to you? And Kiarna was like, no. Like, she's been real, like, the only thing that we've talked about is the situation between her and Nneka. But other than that, like, she ain't said nothing shady about y'all, which I find it funny that they asked that because they swear that, like, the other two ladies aren't, like, on their mind, but, like, that's what you asking? And so she was just like, no, she told me to, like, I've just been working on getting to know everybody for myself. And so then Nneka comes and sits down because while they were asking Kiarna about that, Nneka was the instructor was showing her how to shoot. And so they're talking about the code, like the situation about the shrine and stuff. And for some reason, Nneka got real like she got real testy because she immediately said, don't be stirring pots you don't know about. And Kiana was like, I'm not stirring the pot. They asked me a question and I answered it. And then Kiana pretty much kind of wrapped Nneka up because she was like, I stirred it, I flipped it, I dipped it, and what we doing about it? Nothing. And I was like, yeah, like, what are you talking about, Nneka? Like, that's what your storyline has been for the past several seasons, not seasons, but past several season. Why do you care if she's asking you about it? So they let that go because the conversation did get confusing. The other girls went and did tennis practice, and that was Wendy, Mia, Ashley, no, Wendy, Mia, and Karen. And then Mia is not letting go of Ashley's divorce because she brought it up in episode 14 and she's bringing it up again. And she called Ashley a gold digger, pretty much saying that Ashley, like, she wanted to leave Michael, but like she realized she ain't got no money and that yeah, like she was gold digging, but she ain't do it the right way. Candace said pretty much it seems like Ashley might have daddy issues and doesn't want to feel abandoned anymore. And then Wendy said, I don't think she has the heart to get a divorce because it's kind of like that saying that like everybody wants to make it to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Like maybe she's just not ready. And then Karen was like, she understands, like she got two kids, like she built a life with that person. And she talks about when she got her divorce, she broke down from her first husband. And like she was like, it's like getting a leg amputated without anesthesia. Mia talks about how like when she was ready to leave her relationship, her marriage, she packed up all her stuff and she left with just $100 in her pocket and her baby. And I think that's when Candace was like, but that's because you know how to survive differently than her. She doesn't. And they left the conversation right then and there. So it's their last day in DR. Like they were only there for 3 days, it seems. Just a weekend getaway. That really didn't seem like they had fun. Like all they did was eat. And your girl liked to eat. Let me scratch. I love to eat. But like it didn't seem like they did anything. Like all the activities they did, you could do back in America, you know? So, um, Ashley, they're sitting at the table. Wendy basically tells Ashley, girl, Mia called you a gold digger. Ashley was not happy about that. And Mia, I think Ashley thought she got Mia by saying, well, did you marry Gordon for his money? And Mia said, maybe. Like Mia is upfront with her like her scandalous ways, you know? And so they're going back and forth and I kind of tuned out. But what I will say is I don't know. This might be Ashley's last season or she might be getting demoted because it seems like her being attached to Michael is definitely a hindrance. Like it sounds like she's his child. Like when she was explaining to them in the confessionals, like when production was asking her questions about it, and she was like, well, he gives me a credit card. We have a joint account that I take the money to pay for the kids out of. And like he helps me with my car note. And, I get like Uber Eats and stuff. And I was like, Ashley, you sound like his 35-year-old daughter. Like you don't sound like his wife. Like, and then there was a scene where she was on the phone looking at her kids. I think she was looking at the oldest one. And then she told Michael she was filming and he blacked out he took the camera away. And she was like, Michael, show me my kids. They're not going to film you. And then she lets us know that Michael said if he's shown on the show or I guess if she talks about him or something like that, I guess in a negative way, he'll sue her. Like, girl, was it worth it? Was it really worth it to attach yourself to a pasty, slimy man to have this much control over you and you're only living in a house that looks like an Airbnb model? Like, if you were going to have to deal with this type of energy, I need to be living in like a penthouse like Alexia is living in Miami, or at least living like girl, like out of all the girls who are getting a divorce, like it seems like Ashley got the worst end of it because even when you think about like Lisa from Miami, she's still fighting for her money, but she at least ran into Jody and she got Jody and Lenny paying her rent. Crazy. Then you think about Kenya. Kenya still was able to take care of herself. She ain't really got to pay that man no money like that. Like she's good to go. Like her divorce is over, but like she's not being controlled by him anymore. It's just like Ashley's doing like she did all of this, said all that stuff about Candace being the least accomplished and all this other stuff just to be tied to a man that treats her like a child. And now it seems like when they did her birthday tribute, that's what it was. It was like a birthday tribute. Like we were saying so long farewell to her. And I'm like, did he tell you if you get off this show, he'll give you access to everything? Or are you getting off this show because you just want to have an easy life? Like, it's not making sense. It's not making sense to me because I'm like, why? It's just not making sense, girl. It's just not. You did all of this for nothing. Had 2 kids with this man just to be treated like a child. And maybe that's what you wanted. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and drop down in the comments below. Deuces.